Britain said no to being involved in the Iran war. But what if that decision has less to do with diplomacy and more to do with whether we can actually afford to be involved? Hi, I'm Abisoye, and this is your daily briefing, one headline a day worth your headspace. So a former NATO Security General, who also co-wrote the Labour government's own defence plan, has said that Britain's national security is in peril and that the political leadership has shown corrosive complacency towards defence. The UK's defence budget has been a political battleground in recent decades. Between 2009 and 2017, defence spending fell by 22%. Last year, Prime Minister Keir Starmer committed to increasing defence spending to 2.5% of GDP by April 2027. NATO's baseline target for all allies is 2% of GDP, but NATO announced a new two-tiered commitment. Allies are now expected to reach 5% of GDP on defence and security spending by 2035, with at least 3.5% going to core defence and the remaining 1.5% covering areas like cybersecurity and critical infrastructure. Britain has signed up to that target. We all can attest to the fact that over the last 2 decades, the threat to the UK has not just been hypothetical. In 2017 alone, there were 5 known attacks on UK soil. And there's 2 attacks in particular that brings into question whether it's just about defence spending or the effectiveness of the systems currently in place. At the Manchester Arena, Salman Abedi detonated a bomb at Ariana Grande's concert, killing 22 people. The public inquiry revealed a significant missed opportunity. Intelligence MI5 had before the attack, which could have led to Abdi being investigated, was not shared with counter-terrorism police. MI5 Director General Ken McCallum expressed profound regret, stating he was profoundly sorry that MI5 did not prevent the attack. Similarly, the Parson Green bombing involved Ahmed Hassan, who was referred to the PREVENT program in 2016 after self-disclosing training with ISIS. Despite this, MI5 did not investigate him as a threat, and no follow-up occurred, even after Hassan told a housing worker he had a bomb and planned to detonate it on a train or bus. These failures were not solely financial, but structural, but they sit against a backdrop of a country still debating whether it's spending enough to keep people safe. So what's next? Well, today, the man who co-wrote Starmer's Strategic Defence Review has publicly warned that Britain's political leadership exhibits corrosive complacency towards defence, calling decisions made by non-military experts in the Treasury as vandalism. The government says it's currently working on a spending review, with the full 10-year funding plan yet to be published. And with the new NATO target now on the table, the question of how Britain pays for all of this is urgent. 2 former defence secretaries are urging Starmer to cut welfare to fund the military. The Centre for Social Justice estimates that the £18 billion annual increase in welfare spending in 2025-2026 is equivalent to 220 fighter jets, 15 Royal Navy frigates, or the salaries of 250,000 soldiers, more than 3 times the size of the regular British Army. The Treasury warns that increased defence spending would require tax rises or cuts elsewhere. But with 7 in 10 PIP claimants living in families in the poorest half of the income distribution, those cuts would disproportionately impact lower income households. Over the next 5 years, the Resolution Foundation projects that the average income of the poorest half of working-age households could decline by 3% or about £500. And food banks warn that further welfare cuts could push nearly 500,000 more into severe hardship. YouGov's recent Most Important Issues tracker for the 4th to the 6th of April this month shows that defence is now the 3rd most important issue to people in this country, behind only the economy and immigration, and ahead of the NHS. So now all eyes are on how the government plans to keep Britain safer and who is going to foot the bill. That's it for today's daily briefing. I'll see you tomorrow.